Welcome to the deep dive. There's just so much cloud information out there, isn't there?
It really is. It can be overwhelming.
Exactly. So today we're cutting through some of that noise and diving into a core AWS service, Amazon Relational Database Service,
A
RDS.
foundational one, for sure.
Right. And our mission really is to understand why RDS was such a big deal, why it simplifies things so much, especially if you're maybe newer to cloud databases. We're using a great beginner's guide as our source today.
Sounds good. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's unpack RDS. At its heart, what is it?
Fundamentally, it's a fully managed SQL database service.
And fully managed is the key phrase here, right? What does that actually mean in practice?
It means AWS handles a lot of the operational heavy lifting for you.
Yeah.
Think provisioning servers, patching the database software, doing backups, handling scaling.
All that stuff that used to take up so much time.
Precisely. You're basically freed from managing the underlying infrastructure. And it supports the engines people know, like MySQL, PostgreSQL.
And Amazon Aurora, too, their own optimized one.
Yep, that one as well.
So what's really fascinating, I think, is comparing this to how things used to be.
Oh, yeah. The contrast is stark. If you think about running databases on premises, or even just on basic EC2 instances back in the day.
You did everything yourself.
Everything. Setting it up, meticulously applying every single patch, figuring out backups, sometimes, literally to physical tapes.
Tapes, I remember those days. And high availability, setting up failover.
That was a huge project. Custom scripts, complex configurations. A real nightmare, honestly, to get right and keep working.
So how does RDS tackle these specific problems?
It automates almost all of that routine stuff, like MySQL needs an update. RDS can apply it automatically during a maintenance window you define. No manual intervention.
Okay, that's huge. What about scaling?
Dynamic. You can scale compute power up or down. And storage can often auto-scale. Imagine going from, say, 20 gigs to 100 gigs of storage without any downtime.
Wow, zero downtime scaling. And for resilience?
That's where multi-AZ comes in. Multi-availability zone deployments. It basically keeps a synchronized standby copy of your database in a different physical data center, a different AZ. If your primary has an issue, it automatically fails over.
So high availability is sort of built in if you choose that option.
Exactly. And security is streamlined too. Encryption at rest using KMS keys, encryption in transit using SSL TLS. It's all integrated.
So the goal is really freeing up developers and ops teams from database admin chores.
Absolutely. It lets them focus on building applications, on using the data, not just keeping the database lights on. That's the real game changer.
It sounds like it just removes so many of those traditional database headaches. So thinking practically, what kind of real-world applications benefit most?
Oh, loads. Because it's so reliable and managed, it's great for hosting the database behind a web application. Maybe your company website on WordPress needs MySQL.
Or like an e-commerce site.
Perfect for that. Storing transactional data, orders, customer info, perhaps using PostgreSQL. You can also set up read replicas easily.
Read replicas for what?
To offload reporting or analytics queries. So your main database isn't slowed down by heavy reads. And a really powerful feature is point-in-time recovery.
Meaning you can restore back
to a specific minute within your backup retention period. Say you made a mistake at 2:05 p.m. You can potentially restore the database to how it was at 2:04 p.m. It's incredibly useful.
That offers a lot of peace of mind. How complex is it to actually, get one running?
Surprisingly simple. At a high level, you mostly use the AWS Management Console, pick RDS, choose your engine, MySQL, Postgres, whatever, select an instance size, storage, configure a few settings.
And AWS handles the setup in the background.
Exactly. Then you get an endpoint, like a web address, and you just connect to it using standard SQL tools. Your application connects the same way it would connect to any SQL database.
So take a company moving off a local server.
Yeah, imagine they were running MySQL locally. Dealing with backups, worrying about hardware failure, they move to RDS, and instantly they get automated backups, optional multi-AZ failover, built-in encryption. It's a massive upgrade in reliability and security with far less effort.
Okay, so summing it up for the listener, when should you really be looking at RDS?
You'd consider RDS whenever you need a managed SQL database, basically, if high availability or easy scaling or meeting compliance needs are important for your application.
And especially if you want to spend less time on database administration tasks.
Definitely, if you want to offload that work. So think web apps, mobile app backends, e-commerce, standard business applications.
And when would you not use it? Are there cases where it's not the right fit?
Sure. If you need a NoSQL database key value document store, then you look at something like AWS DynamoDB instead. RDS is for relational SQL databases.
Right. Different tool for a different job.
And also, if you need total control over the database server itself, down to the operating system settings, maybe install specific third-party agents, then you might still run your database on an EC2 instance. RDS abstracts that away.
Makes sense. You trade some control for the convenience and automation.
Precisely. So RDS really is this powerful, simplified path for relational databases in the cloud.
It really streamlines things.
Which actually brings up an interesting thought, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When you outsource these fundamental tasks, backups, patching, scaling, how does that change what skills are most valuable for developers or IT operations teams?
Does it mean they need to focus more on, say, data modeling, query optimization, or overall data strategy, rather than the nuts and bolts of infrastructure?
That's definitely something to chew on. Where does the focus shift?
A great question to end on. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into Amazon RDS. We hope you found it useful. Keep exploring, keep learning.